If you guys do need any grinding services, hit up my guy Cliff2_3 on Twitter. A lot of new centerpieces out there for you guys to obtain. Cliff is your man for that. Level 40 Trae Young, hit up my guy Cliff if you do need help with it. Fast and reliable Xbox and PlayStation, hit up my guy Cliff2_3 on Twitter. It is good, it's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over and ranking the top power forwards right now in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. Now, before I dive into the specifics on things, guys, I just want to say the power forward position is honestly pretty strong, okay? I know a lot of people might not think so, but it really is, especially with the new drop that we got. I mean, I'm just going to talk about players that can play the power forward position in the new drop. Jonathan Isaac, Evan Mobley, Bron, KD. You go back to last week, we had Thurl Bailey as well as Lauri Markkanen. To say that the power forward position isn't strong after that is just in my opinion, not a valid statement. Now, there's going to be players that aren't on this list, such as like a Franz Wagner. He's going to be on that small forward list. So if you don't see a guy that you want to run at the power forward position, check this small forward list and then check my center list that will come very shortly. We're going to start off with Bob McAdoo, who I don't think is very great. And as we start off with McAdoo, guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button. We're on the road towards 110,000 subscribers, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great Christmas, man, for all those who celebrate happy holidays, guys. Bob McAdoo, the only problem with him is his ability to shoot the 3-ball, right? The 53 ball. Now, the majority of you guys aren't gonna have, I wouldn't even shoot with the 53 ball. I mean, Kareem's got a 60 and maybe you can shoot with that, but a 50 is crazy. Still, defensively, he's really solid. I just don't rate him that highly because his 3-ball is not great. And another card who's not great is Julius Randle. Now, I know a lot of people might disagree with me on this. Here's the deal, guys. Is domination even useful? No. At this point in my team, I'm gonna say how I feel. Domination is the most useless thing that you can grind right now in my team. There's no, what are you grinding for? Outside of some tokens? I mean, trophies aren't really that valuable at this stage of my team. So that's just my opinion on it. Yes, Julius Randle is going to do some things for you. His release isn't bad, you know. There are some pros to him, but at the end of the day, do I think he's great? No, I just don't. I have the card and will never, ever run him in my team. Robert Parish is not bad, right? Another Evo card, but this Robert Parish can actually do some things for you guys on the court, right? Gets that 72 3-ball with a decent enough release. Shooting badges aren't necessarily there, but he does have Hall of Fame bully, gets post-spin technician, has masher, gets anchor. I mean, the card does get a lot better. Now, the intangibles go up 29 to get him to that diamond, but look at the defensive upgrades, look at the 3-ball upgrade. Yes, his speed is still a little bit low. I think his best position is maybe that center position, but he does get, in my opinion, better than Bob McAdoo and Julius Randle. Amar'e Stoudemire up next. Now, I don't necessarily think it's even fair to talk about Amar'e Stoudemire. Now, the reason that I believe that is because the majority of the people running Amar'e Stoudemire at this point of my team are not even running him. The majority of the people that have Amar'e have him because they locked in the set for Tim Thomas. It's just that simple, right? They locked in this set for Tim Thomas, and that's why they have Amar'e in their collection. I just always think Amar'e should be better than he is in my team. I don't know if it's because of his release. I don't know if it's his player build. I don't know what it is specifically. But Amar'e should be better than he is. I don't like the card. I'm going to go C tier with him. Our first B tier card, Danny Manning. Maybe the power forward position isn't quite as strong as I initially made it out to be. For Danny Manning here, he's not bad though. Okay, 6'10", 7-foot wingspan. He's got some things going for him. 4 Hall of Famers. Does get that 79 3-ball, 87 speed. Really solid defensive. That's probably the thing about Danny Manning that I rate highly is the defense. Hall of Fame brick wall rebound chaser. Upper 80s defensive stats across the board. Magic base is kind of troll. I'm just going to throw that out there. The fact that he has Magic Johnson base is troll. Hall of Fame bully and masher as well. I just think Danny Manning's underrated in my team. I really do. And if you did get him for free, very solid. Dennis Rodman, I'm going to go C tier. People run Dennis Rodman still to this day on current gen. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's just because they love his defense. But even with this defense, I mean, he doesn't do enough, in my opinion, to run the card offensively. Now, that's just my opinion. Yes, defensively, there might not be many better players in all of my team with 6'7" with a large wingspan. But his release is kind of slow. 73 ball. Dunking-wise, not great. Can hardly handle the ball. I'm sorry. I think Danny Manning gives you more on the court. Pink Diamond, Draymond Green up next. I'm going B tier with Draymond Green. Look, he's in the Pink Diamond locker code, so if you do get Draymond, don't think he's an absolute garbage, man. Look, you can use him. The problem with Draymond is it's just his release is so slow. I mean, that's really the only problem I see with Draymond. Can't handle the ball, plays great defense, can knock down shots. Dunking-wise, not great. But again, it's just the fact that he's got that Draymond Green base on slow, which really limits how good the card truly can be in my team. Next up, guys, we do see Evan Mobley. And although Evan Mobley's release is on slow, the card is still really good in my team. Yes, his release is on slow. And when you use the card, you notice it, right? He does have a slow release. He does got the normal leaner, so on next gen gives you that little bit more. Defensively, though, he's outstanding. That's the one thing nobody can take away from Evan Mobley is on the defensive end of the court. He's going to get the job done. He can get unpluckable. Can't get limitless, which might hurt the card a little bit, right? With the fact that he can't get limitless. But outside of that, can literally badge him up as much as you want, right? And I mean, outside of that, what are you really going to say that's bad about Evan Mobley in general? People in comp are still running Evan Mobley, and I think that should say enough about the card. Anthony Davis, Galaxy Opal up next. S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier for Anthony Davis. And I think you have a hard time arguing against it. I mean, if you don't think Anthony Davis is S tier, I want to know why. Because I still, to this day, hold true to the fact that I believe Anthony Davis is the best power forward in the game. Do I wish he had more total badges? Yes. The fact that he doesn't come with Challenger, off-ball pass, doesn't come with quick first step, clamp breaker, doesn't come with Limitless. Like, it doesn't come with Master. You gotta apply some badges to Anthony Davis. Now, whether you like it or not, it's just the way it is. You gotta apply them. I just love the card on defense more than anything. I mean, wide player model, long player model. I think the card is great in my team. Antawn Jamison up next. He kind of goes into that kind of group of guys that don't have a good release. But I still think Draymond Green gives you more than Antawn Jamison. And I'll argue that forever, especially on that defensive end of the court. Yes, Antawn Jamison's going to shoot the ball better, but he's got the Brook Lopez base. And what are we really doing in my team with the Brook Lopez base? Nothing. It's a horrible release. Antawn Jamison at this point in my team is C tier. Next up here, guys, we do see Pink Diamond Elton Brand. And most of you guys know, I've been a fan of Elton Brand really since I got him, which was, 2 or 3 months ago? Now, with that being said, how good do I honestly think Elton Brand is? I would probably go with B tier. And that's not me hating on Elton Brand. That's not me saying Elton Brand is bad. That's just me personally saying, and realizing I think there are better options in my team at this stage. Now, again, I like Elton Brand as much as the next person. I don't think his release is great. And I just don't think the card is that great in general. But, I mean, defensively, outstanding. Finishing around the rim, outstanding. Just not that tall release, not that great. Gonna put him in B tier. Jermaine O'Neal, I personally feel like fits better on the center tier list. And the reason I personally think that is, number one, okay, because Jermaine O'Neal's player build is good enough to play the center position. And his release is just super slow. So I don't see a lot of people playing Jermaine O'Neal at power forward. And I just don't see a lot of people playing him in general anymore in my team. But I got him for a while and used him, and he was really, really solid in my opinion. James Worthy up next, and I'm throwing James Worthy in A tier. I absolutely love James Worthy. People in competitive my team, some people still run James Worthy. He's their top, 3 power forward in the game. To me, I personally don't think James Worthy is that good. I do respect Worthy, though, enough to put him at A tier. I mean, he played for me for quite some time. And because of that, I definitely do respect James Worthy. Zach Randolph up next. And Zach Randolph, wherever Elton Brand is, I feel like Zach Randolph has to be. I feel like Randolph might be better in some areas. Brand is going to be better in some areas. But they're both undersized power forwards. Yes, Randolph's going to do his things well and Elton's going to do his things well. But undersized trophy case power forwards, both being at B tier. Rashard Lewis, another trophy case reward up next. I'm throwing him at C tier. And honestly, guys, I'm throwing Julius Randle at F tier because when I look at this list, is there anybody that's going to be worse than Julius Randle is? I don't think so. And that's just my opinion on it. Rashard Lewis, he's fine. He's a good shooter, not the best release. Defensively leaves a lot to be desired. Just, you don't see many people using Rashard Lewis at all. Dwight Howard up next. Now, here's what I'll say. If you get a free, like, type in that free locker code, okay, for that free pink diamond. If you get Dwight Howard, you're so blessed. Because Dwight Howard holds it down at the highest level in my team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When it comes to the highest level of my team, Dwight Howard can play at that level. I love the card. I really do. I used him. I don't love his release. I think it's on the slower side of releases. And so when I played him in last squads, that is the one thing I kind of didn't love was the fact that Dwight's release, to me, wasn't that great. But everything else, in my opinion, Dwight Howard did at a very elite level in my team. Dwight Howard, if I got him for free on my No Money Spent, which I happened to get Draymond instead, sadly. But if I would have happened to get Dwight, trust me, he would have played for a while. Josh Smith up next. He's a tough guy to rank. I'm going to put him at B tier because I think he does a lot on the court. But nobody can green with Josh Smith. Not anybody. And it'd be different if it was in the years past. Whereas if you shot it slightly earlier, slightly late, the shot probably went in. This year, it's basically green or miss. And if you don't green shots, like with Josh Smith's hard to time release, he's going to struggle on the court. I get he can handle the ball. I get he's great defensively. He can dunk the ball incredibly. But until you can green consistently, you can't be above B tier for me. Detlef Schrempf up next. Basically polar opposite compared to a guy like Josh Smith. He's going to shoot the ball well, but on the defensive end of the court, Detlef Schrempf is not good at all. Okay, he's just not. It's that simple. Detlef Schrempf, as far as when it comes to shooting the ball, definitely struggles quite a bit. I mean, I got that mixed up. On the offensive end of the court, when it comes to shooting the ball, he's not going to struggle. He's going to knock down shots, but defensively, going to struggle that little bit. I got my words mixed up a little bit there, but Detlef, defensively, just not good enough to put him at A tier. A card who overall is good enough to put at A tier is the pink diamond Kevin Garnett. Offensively, underrated. Why? I think he's got like a 73 3 ball, but his release, absolutely incredible. Defensively, 6'11", plays lanes well, has Hall of Fame interceptor. KG, one of the most underrated cards still in my team. Pink diamond Zion Williamson, I'm going to put him right up there with Josh Smith. Now, Josh Smith, to the eye test, is going to be better than Zion Williamson. Like, when you compare the cards side by side, Josh Smith is way better than Zion. Now, what I personally would say, and what I personally want you to do, is realize that this three ball is deceiving. Zion's going to knock down way more shots from the three-point line than Josh Smith, just strictly because his release is better. Zion has a way better standing dunk that never gets blocked. Zion's ball handling ability is better. So, I mean, don't just think it's all, sunshine and rainbows with Josh Smith. He's going to struggle just as much as Zion is on that defensive end of the court. Blake Griffin up next. This one I struggle with. Because how many people are going to want to run a Blake Griffin card at this stage of my team that doesn't have a great release? It's on the slower side of things. That doesn't play great defense. Not many. I mean, what is Blake Griffin really doing for you at this stage of my team? I mean, short answer, not much. Blake Griffin is not great at this stage of my team. But, I mean, he's still not horrible. Still can dunk the ball well, knock down wide open shots. I don't hate Blake Griffin. I think he's on the same similar level to Chris Bosh. And honestly, at this stage, I honestly think Chris Bosh is better. I'm going to put Chris Bosh at B tier, probably. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Bosh defensively isn't good enough to be B tier. That's the problem I have with him. Yes, he's going to shoot the ball better than Blake, but Blake's going to dunk the ball way better. I think they belong at the same C tier, and that's just my opinion on things. Obviously, very similar in skill level. Shawn Kemp is a card that I think is better than both Blake Griffin and Chris Bosh. Offensively, dunking-wise, absolutely elite. Now, his dribble style is bad, and that's kind of what worries me for the Galaxy Opal Shawn Kemp is how good can they honestly make him? I don't know. Unless they really update his dribble style, it's not good. Obviously, his release is okay, but I just do not love Shawn Kemp in my team. MPJ up next. I'm throwing him at C tier. I feel like every time Michael Porter Jr. gets a card in my team, not even just this year, in years past, people gas him, people hype him up, people talk about him as being absolutely elite, this and that. And every time I use MPJ, I just don't have that same success level with him. And that's probably maybe my fault more than MPJ's fault. But I just got to tell you how it is. I don't have that same level of success as a lot of people do in the MyTEAM community with Diamond Michael Porter Jr. Andre Kirilenko up next. I'm going to say this as simply as possible. Andre Kirilenko needs a quicker release if I'm going to put him any higher. Because a guy like Dennis Rodman plays way better defense than Andre Kirilenko, and he's at C tier because of his low 3-ball and bad release. AK's release might even be worse. I mean, AK's release is bad. It is slow. It is super baited. I can't put him any higher than D tier. And I remember even in Season 2, there were a lot of Andre Kirilenko stands, and I'm just thinking to myself, for what? What is Andre Kirilenko really providing you guys on the court? Jeremy Grant up next. I'm throwing him at a B tier. If you look at the stats and badges of Jeremy Grant, tell me how the card is not good. Okay? 84 3-ball, good standing driving dunk, good ball handle, good speed, decent defensively. Tell me how Jeremy Grant is not that B tier caliber. It just doesn't make sense to me. I definitely think he belongs in that B tier. And honestly, you know, I think he's better at that small forward position, but he can play both. Jeremy Grant was a free card that you guys could get and just a solid overall card. Jared Vanderbilt up next, another guy at B tier. And I don't mean to put all these guys in the middle tiers. Like if you look at B tier and C tier, yes, there's more cards there. But every card at B tier is that same level. I mean, maybe you could put Vando at A tier if you really wanted to, but I don't think he is quite the level of Worthy, Mobley, D12, or KG. I just don't, and that's my opinion. I do think Vando is pretty solid. Gonna throw him at B tier. Definitely carried my last No Money Spent squad series. Now we get to the good guys. Giannis, S tier. And a lot of people might argue that Giannis is not a top 3 or 4 power forward in my team because his release isn't great, his 3-ball is not great. And they'll just pick the downfalls of Giannis, right? The bad parts about the card. They won't mention the good parts, right? They won't be quick to talk about that. But the moment Giannis misses a 3 or the moment he steps in, the moment this and that happens, they'll pick apart his flaws. Let's talk about it though. Giannis at the power forward position, who has a better player model or player build than him? Oh wait, not many people. As far as the ability to mash, who mashes better than Giannis at that power forward position? Not many. And so when it comes to me and Giannis, I think he's the second best power forward in the entire game. Pink Diamond KD. This KD does have Hall of Fame limitless range, and I'm not going to sit here and say that's the most important thing in the game, but it does play an impact in how good a card is. It does matter, and so I'll put him at A tier. I don't think KD is great. I think his release is still on this lower side of things. I don't love the card, but respect him enough to put him at that A tier. Diamond Giannis. I mean, here's the deal with Diamond Giannis. I'm going to put him at B tier. But when you look at the stats and badges of Diamond Giannis, I got to tell you guys, nobody's really going to be that impressed with him. I guess defensively, he's fine. For Giannis, what you guys got to realize is it's Giannis. It's his player build more than anything. Yes, you know, his standing dunk, driving dunk is still okay. But he's only got a 71 3-ball with no shooting badges. A lot of people are not going to like that. Diamond Al Horford up next. Hear me out when I say this. One of the most underrated cards in the entire game. And everybody's just going to quickly talk about, oh, but his speed is at a 73. That's horrible. You know what, guys? It is not great. A speed at a 73 is not great. I'll be the first to tell you that. But you know what is great, guys? You know what is awesome? Okay? He's got Hall of Fame masher, catch and shoot, Hall of Fame anchor and post lockdown. One of the release, I think his release has literally, it's tested the highest green window in the entire game. And so if you want to point out the flaws, point out the positives too of Al Horford, he can play at any level. I don't care who you're asking. Obi Toppin up next. I'm going to put him at B tier. I don't necessarily use Obi Toppin, haven't necessarily played with the card enough. But if you look at the stats and badges of Obi Toppin, and I'll pull them up for you guys here, it's really solid. There's not really many flaws in the card. It's just nobody really uses him because he's not like that next level good in my team. John Collins up next. I'm going to throw him at C tier. The reason I don't like John Collins happens to do with his release. I hate John Collins' release, and that might be a me problem more than anything, but I don't like his release. And I don't think on the defensive end of the court, he does enough for me to be that high on him. I mean, look at these defensive badges. You want me to hype that up? You want me to be high on that? I'm sorry. I just can't really do it for Diamond John Collins. I will say Diamond Collins is quite a bit better than the Amethyst version. Next, we got a couple Dark Matters. And here's what I will say. On both next gen and current gen, Tim Duncan is S tier. He is. I will say I prefer Tim Duncan at center, and that's one thing that's kind of pushed him ahead for me is when I've stopped trying him at the power forward, stopped comparing him to guys like AD, and instead compared him to guys like Kareem, guys like Hakeem, I started liking Tim Duncan more. So he'll probably be on the center list as well, but he's definitely S tier at either position. Now, Larry Bird, if we're talking about current gen, easy addition into S tier. Next gen, I think he's on the border of A tier, S tier. I'm going to put him in S tier, even if you think his release is slow, which it is. Even if you think, that, his playmaking's not good, which it's not. He still does enough on the defensive end of the court and the ability with Hall of Fame range to be a threat to throw him in S tier. Easy addition into S tier is Pink Diamond Bron. I don't care if you're on current gen or next gen. I don't care if it's 2K19, 2K23. Bron will always be good in my team. And when will people learn that LeBron James is the GOAT? Big Bron in my team. Easy addition into S tier. Jonathan Isaac, close to S tier. We're going to plug him into A tier. I think the card in Jonathan Isaac is really good. 6'11", no real flaws. Release is actually really smooth. The big thing for me with Jonathan Isaac is he as complete as Larry Bird, LeBron? I don't think so. And that's not me slandering Jonathan Isaac because he's one of the best players at A tier. I just think he belongs more at A tier than S tier right now. Kenyon Martin, I'm sorry. If you're using Kenyon Martin at this point of my team, there might be something wrong with you. He's D tier. And honestly, he might even be worse than Julius Randle. I don't want to compare trash to trash, but he really might be. He is that bad in my team. Another pretty garbage card at this point of my team is Lamar Odom. If you are using Lamar Odom at this point, what are we doing, guys? There are cards for literally 1,000 MT that you can have more success with than Lamar Odom. Don't ask me why people are running Lamar Odom. I can't give you the right answer for it. Kyle Kuzma up next. Now, we all know Kuzma's release is one of the best in my team. Now, outside of that, Kuzma still does some things well, right? His defense isn't horrible, but the real threat is he has such a quick release in my team. And that's why people are running Kuzma, right? They're not running him for his defense. They're running him strictly because his release is that next level good in my team. Next, we got Pink Diamond Bron and then Diamond Thurl Bailey. Pink Diamond Bron, I guess I'm going to throw it A tier, and then Diamond Thurl Bailey, I'll throw it S tier. Honestly, no, I'm not going to do it. Nightmare Bron is still S tier. He is. And here's the deal, guys. Is Nightmare Bron as good as the Tis the Season Bron with their base cards? No, because the Tis the Season Bron has 41 base gold badges. The Nightmare Bron has 20-some base gold badges. You have to badge the Nightmare Bron up, and that's the big deal. For Thurl Bailey, in my opinion, the best comparison I can bring to you guys is he's a taller version of James Worthy with a little bit worse release. But the taller version of James Worthy matters so much. And you guys might be like, why, Ty? What is the big deal? Taller version of a card that people are already talking about as being one of the best power forwards in the game. Are you kidding me, man? Thurl Bailey is the best of the best. That is going to wrap it up for our tier list today, guys. Hopefully, each and every one of you guys did enjoy it. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.